Here's the thing about ancient aliens, right? Okay, yeah, wouldn't that be awesome, right? I'd love to meet aliens. It would, no matter what Stephen Hawking says about, how they just want to eat us. I mean, no, I'd like to meet aliens. But again, it's the same issue. Where is the evidence for this? And where legitimately that you can point to? And with a lot of these things that come up, whether it's crop circles, this, that, or the other thing, you just have to sort of analyze it, and then you have to think in terms of what we really know about the universe and about science, okay? Space is real big. And so the whole idea of aliens coming here, you have to think about a lot of ideas. For example, all right, you cannot, despite what Star Trek says, exceed the speed of light. So you're talking about, at best, you have this spacecraft full of this alien crew, and they're flying at relativistic speeds from wherever the hell they came from. And this basically means that while they're on their little ship piddling towards Earth, because apparently we're so interesting, back home, right, their civilization is ending, right? I mean, everyone they know is dying. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years are passing back home, while for their own time sense.
While they're going around dissecting cows and anally probing farmers.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like, is this really worth it, right? So it's just so again, you have this alien crew is giving up essentially their entire lives to go on this crazy errand to this little pebble in our solar system, and then they get here, and what do? They make a pattern in a cornfield, and then they go hide. Yeah, that makes all kinds of sense. Yeah, that was totally worth, devoting an entire alien culture's, space exploration budget for, and these guys completely saying goodbye to their families. I'll never see you again. And by the time we get home, there won't be any.
To be fair, you don't know that the aliens have the concepts of families and that. They don't have infinite resources or whatever.
Well, but still, I'm just going by what, the only thing we can go by is what we actually know about the universe.
And it's not that it couldn't happen, it's just that it's the same question as when confronted by the God claim, which is, what makes you think that happened?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I 100% agree with you. The thing is that, if you look at cultures that, at one point, all the gods spoke to man, and eventually they kind of just disappeared. Yeah. And,
well, they have to disappear at some point to explain the fact that they're not around messing with virgins now.
Yeah. I will say that there have been there's a lot of science fiction that has taken this premise a lot of ways, right? I mean, 2001: A Space Odyssey is essentially what you're talking about, right?
Not to mention everything that the Scientology guy, Hubbard.
Yeah, Hubbard basically created a religion based on exactly what you're talking about. So the whole, and Scientology was a bet between L. Ron Hubbard and Robert A. Heinlein, two science fiction writers. L. Ron Hubbard bet Robert A. Heinlein that he could start a religion.
Right.
And so, so this whole idea of ancient aliens affecting the culture and the religions of ancient people is, one of those ideas that's, I think, a testament to human imagination. And it's all about us wanting to sort of find our place in the universe and come up with a way that we can relate to our universe to make it a little bit smaller, a little bit less vast and empty and cold and scary, and have us be a little bit less alone in it. Mm-hmm. And they're stories, but if you show me a legitimate ancient landing, alien landing pad, give me the archaeological evidence, and until that happens, it's all stories.
I got you. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks. I was going to say,
I was hoping we would get a little more fight out of that, but he's very reasonable.
Yeah, well, we have reasonable callers on our show today.
Damn.
We want unreasonable callers. Yeah. I was going to say, just to wrap up, terrific book. Everyone should look up that years ago. It's actually kind of old. I found it long before I was involved in ACA or something. But it's a really wonderful book called Frauds, Myths, and Mysteries. Frauds, Myths, and Mysteries. Pseudoscience and Ancient Archaeology. And it's by a guy named Ken Feder, F-E-D-E-R. And it was the first skeptical work about pseudoscience and pseudo-archaeology and pseudo-history that I found. And it deals with all sorts of these claims, the von Daniken's claims, the ancient astronauts. He goes all the way up to the Cardiff Giant, really wonderful, very entertaining skeptical work where he just sort of, Velikovsky's thing with the, planets flying around like pinballs. He just takes it all apart, and it's very entertaining reading if you're looking for a good skeptical work specifically about ancient archaeology. So,
okay.
And so, all right.
We have callers on the line, but we
with our connectivity. So
I could talk more about.
Tell us a little bit about
trip to Peoria.
Do that, yeah, because we've heard some, but
I don't remember what Matt has said already. But basically, we did a couple of days there. We each had about a 20-minute talk on the first day where I talked about science and skepticism. So obviously that was where the raw stuff came in. And then Matt talked about basically questions of value and why atheist morality is superior, which I'm not sure is even a claim I'd make. But he made a very good case talking about...
It's a secular morality.
Yeah,
right?
Secular morality.
Okay. And not...
And then on the second day, we just sort of hit a bunch of fun stuff like the Star Trek rule and the, and just not so much like the kind of grand arguments that William Lane Craig or somebody like that would like to make, but the kinds of arguments that that people calling the show actually would be likely to make, like you better hope you're right. We had
bumper sticker apologetics.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
We had two. Let's see. So on the first day we had a group of I don't know what kind of Christians they were, but they were sitting way in the back. that was the trend, is that the Christians sit way in the back as if they're thinking they will be set upon by the heathens, and
or just so they can get up and leave with minimal disturbance if they decide that they don't want to sit through this evil heathen rally.
And the first evening, Matt went through his whole talk on secular morality, and their first question was, well, how can you be good without God? And Matt just sort of, practically face-palmed right there. Yeah. So we went through that a bit. The second day... it looks like we're getting callers again. But, the second day, there were some Catholic philosophy undergrads, it seemed like, in the back.
Okay.
So we got some interesting stuff going on there, including like a discussion that that was basically, don't you think? I mean, of the secular worldview and the worldview that says that you're going to go to heaven and be happy with God forever, which of them is more beautiful? And Matt and I have completely different instincts on this, because with the way that I went right away was, I don't think I don't think your stuff, I mean, you've got a hell and ridiculous arbitrary rules and stuff. I don't think that's beautiful at all.
Well, you have a God who, turns people into pillars of salt.
Right.
He's a real mean bastard, right? I mean, he's just, if you read all of his just murderous exploits in the whole Old Testament, I mean, it just looks like those were nightmarish times to live through. Yeah, and
beauty is completely subjective anyway, so, that's kind of a gimme question, because they hope that you'll, that if they frame it the right way, then you'll say, oh, well, actually, your way is more beautiful, but I'd rather live with my barren worldview. And I didn't go that way. And then Matt's instinct was to jump in and say, I don't care if it's beautiful or not, is it true? Which, pretty much covers all the angles of that question.
Sure, yeah.
And then we had like a 30-minute discussion with them afterwards. There were 3 of them. And
right.
So good times.
So yeah, so it turned out to be worth it in that regard.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody who showed up, there were like 40 or 50 people each day.
Good.
Everybody seemed to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we had a magician the next day that we attended, and he had like 300 people. So we were like, we're popular too.
Well, but you were maybe a little more scary.
Yeah.
And
okay.
But we've been getting some more of this, so this has been picking up a little bit lately, these requests for, public appearances and stuff like that. So that's been really nice.
And I want to say, Matt's not the only one who can talk. I would do it again. And Matt is doing all kinds of stuff, and I'm sure he's doing it again a lot.
Yeah, definitely.